BookTube! It's Missy, and today I wanted to share with you guys my top 14 of 2014. I do have a few honorable mentions, and I do have a top 4 books. The rest of them are in no particular order, so let's get started. For book number 14, I have Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. This is the third and final book in the Grisha trilogy. I enjoyed this trilogy so much. The first one, I didn't really get into it until about the last 100 pages or so. That's when I started to really understand the world and the people's names and the cities. And then the second book came and it was even better. I enjoyed all the action, and then it ended and I was just like, oh my gosh, I really need the third book. And then with the third book, I wasn't able to actually read it in physical copy, and so I listened to it on audio, and that's what sealed the deal. I wasn't planning on buying these books until I listened to the third and final book, and that one, the narrator is so amazing, and she changes her voice for all of the different characters. They all have different accents, and this was a really great way for me to know exactly how to pronounce the people's names and the cities' names and the countries' names. The first and second book, I really struggled with all of that, but yes. Ruin and Rising, number 14, and by the way, sneaky peekies, I am going to be owning these books. They're coming! They're coming. Number 13 is Shutter by Courtney Alameda. I already talked about this book many times. It is a YA paranormal book about a group of teenagers who catch ghosts and other ghoulish creatures of the underworld. They are mostly related to Van Helsing. There's also some that are related to Bram Stoker. And then there's a few that are just in the mix that have no ties blood-wise, but are in this group because they have the highest killing marks. And it's just so great. So if you like Dracula and you like Ghostbusters and you just put those two together, it's amazing. And this book doesn't come out until February, and I cannot wait to hear the reviews because Courtney just did an awesome job at this book. I just love it. I can't wait to own it. And if there's sequels, I'm buying them. The world is so cool, and I love the fact that these people are related to Van Helsing and Bram Stoker. And so yes, definitely check it out if you haven't. I highly recommend it. Number 12 is Cress by Marissa Meyer. I do not have the book yet, but I do have 1 and 2, which is Cinder and Scarlet. Cress is my favorite because it combines everything that was amazing about these two books and puts it all together in one glorious story. And it's got everybody in it, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I love how all of the stories tie in. I love the ending. I loved just everything about the book. I can't give anything away. Definitely check out Lunar Chronicles if you haven't. It is such a great science fiction retelling of the fairy tales. And oh, Ferris and Winter's coming out in 2015, and I just can't wait. Number 11 is Poison Study by Maria V. Schneider. I believe that's the series name as well. This is the first book in the series. I also read Magic Study, which is the sequel. I haven't gotten to Fire Study yet, but I just love these books. Maria V. Schneider has a way of telling a story and having the book be like super long. I mean, it's like a little over 400 pages, but it read like it was 150. Like, the action is so amazing, and the characters are so well built, and Yelena and Valak are, I ship them. I love them. They are so glorious together, and I can't wait to find out what happens with their relationship and with just everything in fire study. I'm looking forward to it. And of course, I talked about Shadow Study, which is coming out in 2015. I don't know if this is like book 4 or a companion or a spinoff, but oh, I am excited. Number 10 is Grasshopper Jungle by Andrew Smith. This book is all about boys and giant praying mantises and crazy weird stuff and stinky feet, and it's also a circle book. If you guys don't know what that is, if you've read when a mouse goes to the movies or something, how it starts off like if you pop popcorn, he's going to want to watch a movie, and at the end he goes, if you get popcorn, he's going to want to watch a movie. The same thing happened in this book. They had a story about bison, and at the very end it kept talking about bison, and I loved that it went full circle. I just loved the writing in this book. It was just amazing, and I loved the history of the town and Austin's ancestors and how it just flowed. It came out of Austin like he just knew the future and the present and the past just because. It was just so awesome. If you haven't checked out this book, it is hilarious and you must read it. Number 9 is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Oh, this book. I didn't want to read this book ever because it's contemporary and because it's super sad. I knew that it was about cancer. I couldn't imagine how it could be possibly something that I would want to read and it be good. And then everybody was talking about it because the movie was coming out, and Penelope was telling me, you should really read it. I'm going to read it. We should buddy read it. And so I was a little behind her, but I listened to it on audio and it sold me. It was amazing. And John's writing is so good that I ended up buying his box set. And then I went and saw the movie, and that was amazing. And so, I don't know. What more can you say? It's The Fault in Our Stars. Tifos for the win. Number 8 is Shadow of Blackbirds by Kat Winters. This is a historical fiction book set in 1918 in San Diego during the influenza epidemic. And it's a paranormal story about a girl who sees her dead boyfriend, and his brother takes seance pictures, which is really creepy and super awesome, and that just sold me. I mean, seances and trying to capture pictures of ghosts on camera, I wanted to read it. And Kat Winters is an amazing author. I keep saying this because all of these books have a theme. They're all really beautifully written. And so I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to read her second book, which is The Cure of Dreaming, which I have with me right now. I want to start it this week, and I will definitely let you guys know what I think of it. Number 7 is Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. This is by April Genevieve Chicholk. I really loved the cover. First of all, that's what sold me on the book, is the cover. The cover is gorgeous. And then I found out that it was a paranormal book, and so I wanted to read it. And it's about some kids who are living in a house. Their parents are away, and they have this stranger come and stay at their guest house because they need the money since they're broke. And the stranger ends up being like a demon. And so the story unfolds after that, but it's so beautifully written. The metaphors, just all the adjectives, all of the adjectives. It's just, when you read April's writing, you can see it. It's almost like a painting. You can see everything's vivid and beautiful, and objects have feelings, and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And it makes me nervous because a lot of people have talked about how Between the Spark and the Burn isn't as good as the first one, and I wanted to start that book this week too, and it makes me nervous, but I'm gonna, and I want to finish up the duology soon. So definitely check out Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea if you have not. Number 6 is the Succubus series by Rochelle Mead. This is her adult paranormal romance series. I absolutely loved this series. I read the first book, which is Succubus Blues, and it's about a succubus and her posse of underworld demon friends. There is, of course, her boss is a demon. Her best friends are vampires, and an angel, and a boy succubus, which is called... Just, the whole series is a story about her and all the bad things that happened to her. She works at a bookstore, which is great, and definitely check it out. If you like Vampire Academy and you like the jokes and the funny comedy that Rochelle puts into those books, you're going to love the adult version because you get funny jokes but with adult content, and it's great, and I would definitely check it out. And I listened, like I said, to all of them, which made it even better because the narrator for these books is just solid. She's just so funny. Her voice is just, it matches the tone just seamlessly. I loved it. Check it out. Number 5 is the Croak trilogy, and this is by Gina D'Amico. This series is about a girl who finds out that she is a Grim Reaper and all the chaos she causes for the entire town of Croak. And it's just, I talked about Gina D'Amico before. She is a hilarious author. Everything that comes out of all of the characters' mouths are super funny. I especially loved the uncle and the old lady that works at Croak. I don't know why I can't think of their names right now. Probably because I've read so many books since then. It's just so funny. It's so funny. And if you like paranormal humor books and you like Grim Reapers, which I enjoy, it's just such a good trilogy, and I can't wait to own these books and reread them over and over again because they were awesome. Before I get to my last 4 books in my top 2014 list, I want to share with you guys my honorable mentions. I have 3 categories: middle grade, classics, and graphic novels, because I read a lot of those this year. So my first honorable mention classic is Animal Farm by George Orwell. Look at this cover. I have an ugly edition, and I loved this book so much I had to buy a better one. This is such an awesome edition. I love it. It's a plum book, and it made me so angry. It made me so angry, and I loved it. That's all I can say. It's about a bunch of animals revolting.
On a farm. On a farm.
On a farm.
Animals on a farm.
And they kick out the farmer, and all hell breaks loose.
It's great. I also want to talk about Dracula by Bram Stoker. I loved this book. I loved it, and I have a video about it. I will leave it
in the bottom dibbly-doo. Dibbly-doo.
Anyways, I'll leave it down below if you want to check out that video where I talk about Dracula versus the movie, the Hollywood version. And, so good. And the pictures, people. Did I show you guys the pictures? Look at the pictures. Look at the pictures. This is an awesome edition. It's got pictures in it. Loved it. So those are my 2 favorite classics of this year. Now I want to talk about my middle grade. The first one is The 14th Goldfish by Jennifer L. Home. This book I got from NetGalley as an e-arc, and it was just so awesome. It's about a girl, I think she's 12. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like a heartfelt grandpa-granddaughter book, but it's also about science and about how girls can be anything they want to be, and about how you really need to think about what you do in life, because sometimes what you do can impact the world. And there's good and bad things that can happen with each decision you make.
I read this so long ago. I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm not saying it very well. Just check it out. It was great.
And the second middle grade book that I loved this year was the trilogy from Adam Gidwitz, and that is A Tale Dark and Grim. I loved these retellings. They were amazing. And I have a video that I will leave down below. So if you would like to check it out, it's down in the dibbly-doo. My last two books of honorable mentions are graphic novels. I started Amulet by Kazuki Buishi. I started this series in January and ended it, well, there's 6 out right now, ended it in August. This is just the cutest fantasy graphic novel that I've read. This was actually the first graphic novel I think I read this year, and it was just so good. I loved it. It's got little kids helping a world where elves have taken over. The artwork is gorgeous. I wish I owned these books, but I borrowed them all from the library. And if you haven't checked it out, I definitely would. The second graphic novel that I just absolutely loved, and everybody loves, is Saga from Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. I don't own these books either. The library was good to me this year. I enjoyed it. I only got to volume 3. I know 4 just came out. I don't think the library has it yet, but I will definitely be checking it out next week to see if they do. Interspecies alien love and war, and it's amazing, and the graphics are awesome, and it's adult, so there's sexy times, so be aware. You might see naked people. And are you guys ready to hear the last 4 favorites of this year? This is in order. Number 4, drumroll, The Diviners by Libba Bray. A glorious paranormal murder mystery. Historical fiction set in 1920. There's flappers. There's awesome 1920s slang. There is a ghost murderer. A secret society. It's just awesome. It's awesome. If you haven't checked it out, don't let the giganticness scare you away, because this here, all these pages freaked me out, and I didn't pick it up all year, even though I bought this in January. I didn't pick it up until October, and I'm so happy that I did. I buddy read this with Penelope. It was amazing. I loved it, and I can't wait for Lair of Dreams, which comes out, I can't remember. The beginning of 2015. Maybe February, March. No, April 11th. It comes out on Sarah Churchill's birthday. April 11th is when the second one comes out. Hopefully the date doesn't change. Number 3 is, oops, upside down. Number 3 is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is an adult historical fiction. It was amazing. This is what got me hooked on circuses. It's a night circus, so there's lots of cool stuff that happen. The 2 main characters, Cecilia and Marco, they're illusionists, and they are also in a contest to see who will win, but the stakes are unknown. They don't know what the end goal is, and they started as children and now they're adults, and it was just such a magical story. This is another book that I listened to this year. Jim Dale narrates it, and he is absolutely amazing. He's an award winner for his narrations. He narrated all of the Harry Potter books. If you didn't like The Night Circus because it was either slow or what have you, try it again, but this time listen to it on audio narrated by Jim Dale. I kid you not, it's so good. It's like a movie. It's just brilliant. And I heard that this is actually becoming a movie, which makes me super excited. So love it. Love the cover. Everything's just gorgeous. And it's shiny. Alright, number 2. This is a recent read, and it is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I got this for my Christmas present last year. It took me forever to read it because I was nervous because it's super heavy and long. It was amazing. It was an amazing, amazing murder mystery. It's adult fiction. It was so good. I have a gush video, spoiler free, in the description bar. I will leave the link. It is just good. It's good. It's good. It's so good. All right. I'm sure you guys know what my #1 pick is. If you didn't know, let me tell you again. It's Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This book was amazing. I'm biased because I'm an 80s kid, born 1981. It's awesome. Just everything. I'm a gamer, so it made it even better. A lot of the movies that were talked about in this book, I have personally watched, loved, and are on my movie shelves. So good. So good. Virtual reality. I've already talked about this numerous times. If you haven't checked out Ready Player One, please do. Just pick it up. Just pick it up. It's so good. It's so good. That was it. That was my 2014 top 14 books plus honorable mentions. Yada yada. I had to wait till the very last minute because I wanted to get as many books in as possible this year before I made this list. That's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I will talk to you soon. Bye.